Madam Speaker, I want to say on the onset, the collapse of education will come with annulment of CDF. Any attempt to do away with CDF, then it will have catastrophic consequence for education, particularly for those of us who come from rural constituencies. And I want to agree with Honorable Owino there that if by December we don't get particularly the bursaries, a lot of our schools, particularly the day secondary schools, might not open because they will not have the necessary funding. I want to thank Honorable Ichumu and Honorable Mule for what I consider to be a constitutional amendment that was measured. For a long time in this parliament, we have been treated to tokenism and favors in the CDF or national government CDF being available to us. I think by suggesting or giving us this proposal, I think we are moving away from tokenism and favors to what is available in the Constitution for this particular fund to be available not just for us, but for generations to come of leaders who will sit in this house and manage the affairs of their country. Madam Speaker, for a long time, the burden has been on our parents. For those of us who are in slightly older ages, we have come through a system where Harambee was the order of the day. With this particular funding becoming available, a lot of young boys and girls have been able to get education to the highest level that their faculties will allow them based on availability of CDF funding. I think also on the same, our court must get rid of activism where it is not necessary. Because I'm sure there are judges, magistrates, advocates who are sitting in our courts who have benefited from the goodwill of the Kenyan people through the national government CDF. And they should be the last to throw it out through the window. And the onus is on them to actually respect that in a big way. Madam Speaker, in 2015, I remember in this house, we were able to pass a constitutional amendment because of the equalization fund. I think we came together, we rallied. Although the equalization fund was going to address less than 14 counties. But this time round, the CDF addresses the Kenyan nation, 290 constituencies. Today, I believe as we sit here, we are receiving messages that children are out of school. Some schools depend on CDF to even purchase food for the pupils who attend those schools. In the absence of this, then we are even forced to borrow food that is meant for the population. Madam Speaker, I want to finish by saying this. This constitutional amendment is not in vain. The honorable members have used Article 1, where through the duly elected representatives, members can move a constitutional amendment. Secondly, Article 94(5) clearly says that nothing will have the full force of the law. Nothing can be done by anyone in this country if it has not been approved by the National Assembly or the parliaments of Kenya. For that reason, Madam Speaker, I support this amendment. It is good that we have brought the Senate on board. We have also brought the National Government Affirmative Action Fund on board. The reason is all these funds will reach the lowest levels in our country. It is the only fund that touches the ground. And that is why it is even more important than having the devolution fund, where a lot of it is appropriated. With those few remarks, Madam Speaker, thank you very much.
Very well. The Honorable Zamzam, member for Mombasa County.